Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 6 review series. And today I am going to be talking about episode 4, Bay of Squids, which I have just finished watching. And this episode was surprisingly pretty good. I thought this was one of the better episodes of Season 6 so far because I felt that the last couple of episodes 2 and 3, were not really that good. I felt they were kind of deviating away from the main story arc that's been going on for this season, and I felt that the last episode was really silly, so I haven't really been a fan of the last couple of episodes, but this episode 4, was one of the better ones, and I would probably put this up there with the season premiere of the show. This was very good, highly enjoyable. There were a couple of silly moments, but not as bad as the last couple of episodes that I mentioned already. This was pretty solid. Lots of focus on trying to get Sarah back because if we all remember at the end of the last episode, Sarah came face to face with a guy who claims that he's been waiting a long time for her. So this episode was more focusing on finding some leads on how Sarah was abducted and trying to get her back. So I quite enjoyed this one a lot, and as I mentioned already, this is one of the better episodes of season 6. So, with that all said, let's get right into it. Let's talk about episode 4, Bay of Squids. So, this episode opens with Cuban soldiers tracking what they believe to be a US ICBM coming in, but instead, what has actually crashed is one of the alien pods. They decide to alert their leader and tell him the invasion has begun. In Washington, D.C., we see President Kennedy meet with a general who shows them recon of the Wave Rider, though he tells the president that it's a new Soviet bomb. Mick gets a lead on the alien who kidnaps Sarah and lets Ava know. They inform the team who lets them know the plan with Mick taking control of the mission. Now, this was actually quite good because we've rarely ever seen Mick take the lead in episodes. It's mostly always been Sarah or Ava in more recent seasons. Sometimes it's Ray Palmer, sometimes it's Nate, and we very rarely ever get to see Mick take control of the mission. So for him to have the lead in this episode and having him take charge was actually surprisingly really good and made for a very good story, I think. So they head out to intercept the aliens' transport. Birad remains unconscious inside the Wave Rider, having taken a weed gummy to sleep. Okay. Their ambush of the transport is messy but weirdly effective, but they end up not getting the alien pod at all. Instead, they're taken a nuclear warhead, and it's then they realise they've wandered into the Cuban Missile Crisis. Okay, this actually wasn't too bad because I was expecting it to be quite silly because they've done things like this before, but this surprisingly turned out to be pretty good. On the Wave Ride, Nate tries to reassure Ava about the situation, reminding her that he wrote his doctoral thesis on the Cuban Missile Crisis. Zari is also prepared to go along, having dressed for the occasion in her pajamas. Mick and Spooner track down the actual pod on its way to Fidel Castro's headquarters. Ava drafts a now awake and very chill Birad to help her while she tasks Mick and Spooner with getting the nuke back to the Soviets. Nate and Zari head to DC. Zari gets taken for a secretary, and Nate meets with both JFK and Bobby Kennedy, as well as a bunch of other major historical figures. Nate sees the recon that they have and tries to dissuade them from pursuing things regarding the Wave Rider. Nate then uses a football story to try to convince JFK to not fire the warheads. However, the president gets a call about a stolen nuclear missile, and the Soviets accuse the US of attacking him with a steel man, which is Nate. Nate tries to convince him it's fake, but the general insists it's real, and as a result of the DARPA program, the general tells JFK to call for a primitive strike, and JFK tells them to go to DEFCON 1. Oh boy. Ava gets taken to the alien where she's expected to start visection on the alien. She stalls trying to come up with another plan, but when she cuts into the alien, a silver fluid comes out, and Birad can't handle it, and he goes outside and pukes. Oh, poor guy. He gets mistaken for Che Guevara, and he is taken to see Castro. He tries to play off that he's Che's cousin, but he's welcomed by Castro with no issues. Castro tells him about the nuclear missile he has as well as his plan to use it. Birard eats one of his gummies and Castro sees them, quickly eating a handful. Birard plays a Stone Castro a song on the guitar, Peace Train. It inspires Castro to call JFK, but he opens the door and is nearly eaten by the alien. It prompts him to prepare the missiles for immediate launch. Meanwhile, we see in the operating theatre, Ava cuts the laughing gas line and knocks everybody else out cold. She uses this as an opportunity to steal the alien. Mick and Spooner encounter Castro's forces and they demand that Mick and Spooner take the warhead to their base. When they get to the base, though, Spooner starts sensing the alien and can even hear it, realizing that it's actually very angry. They go to find Ava, arriving just in time to save her when the alien wakes up. We see all of the storylines come together. DC goes on DEFCON 1, Castro prepares to launch, Ava is informed that Spooner and Mick hand over the nuke to the Cubans. We see the president is starting to crack. Nate tries to suggest that it's all misunderstanding, but the general wants to attack the Soviet Union so they can go to DEFCON 2. Zari offers to type the order because she types fast with her thumbs. Meanwhile, Castro gets a call from Shay, which outs Birard, who takes off running. Ava tells Mick to go back to what he's good at, killing people. Spooner and Mick find the alien, and Spooner thinks it wants to get off the planet. It thinks it can get off Earth on the missile, but the alien starts to listen to them when they talk about being able to get to a spaceship. Mick says he'll take her there in exchange for helping finding Sarah, and the alien asks what kind of fuel the Wave Rider takes. Castro launches the missile, but the general gets a call that makes him realize that Zari sent a message sending everyone on vacation instead. Oh boy. The general then pulls a gun and has the nuclear football brought to the president. JFK decides that he wants to talk to Khrushchev, and the general decides to take matters into his own hands, prompting Nate to reveal that he's really still. It turns into a mini football game. On the ball is the nuclear football. Nate and the Kennedys against the military men for control of the nukes. With an assist from Zari, Nate gets the football and gets it to JFK. The US decide not to launch, and Zari and Nate are preparing to die. However, the general is the only one who dies. He ran onto the White House lawn and is struck by the missile, which does surprisingly not explode. It turns out Mick stole the plutonium out of the ship. Rory returns with the alien but tells Ava he's going alone with her to find her ship. Ava hugs him, and on the Wave Rider, the alien puts a ring on and turns herself into a human form and taking Mick's beer. So it looks like Mick is actually going to try and get Sarah alone. So, with all the stories going around that Dominic Purcell is leaving the show, maybe this is their way of trying to set up Mick Rory's have a big send-off. But time will tell, really. But the fact that he's going out on his own to try and rescue Sarah in exchange for helping the alien getting their ship back says to me that this is probably setting up for him to leave. The legends come back together, but Mick has already taken the Wave Rider, leaving the rest of the team to seek out John Constantine to stay with him. And that pretty much ends episode 4 and my review. Overall, one of the better episodes of Legends of Tomorrow. There were a couple of silly moments, but by and large, this was a lot more serious than the last 2 episodes that we have seen so far. And as I mentioned already, Mick Rory going out alone to try and rescue Sarah by himself, as I mentioned, sounds like to me that this is setting up for him to leave the show. But overall, this was a good episode, and hopefully, and I could be wrong, hopefully, if they continue on the path that they are with episodes like this, then this could turn out to be a very solid 6th season. But I've been wrong before, but we'll see. But I'm glad that they're getting back and focusing on trying to get Sarah back, because sometimes I forget that Sarah is even on this show, because, they're wasting so much time just messing about and being silly that, it's kind of deviating from the main story arc. But it's good to see that they're getting back to the main focus. So, with that all said, I'm going to wrap this up now. What did you think of episode 4? Did you enjoy it? What's your thoughts on Mick Rory helping the alien to try and get their ship back? Do you think this could lead to Mick Rory leaving Legends of Tomorrow and leaving the show? And also, what did you think of Zari and Nate together as the White House. Do you think something more serious could develop with those two, or do you think we're just going to go back to the same sort of things that we've seen before? And also, what's your thoughts on Spooner so far? Do you think she's proved herself to be a worthy member of the Legends? And also, the alien that Mick Rory is helping, do you think they could trust her, or do you think there's a possibility that the alien could turn on the Legends? And also, do you think the Legends will be able to rescue Sarah? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Legends of Tomorrow Season 6 review series, where I'll be talking about Episode 5, which I'm really hoping is going to be a good one, and hopefully as good as this. So until next time, take care everybody and stay safe, and once again, thanks for listening.